Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the very first Prestige Auctions podcast. We're going to be doing a video podcast, so we're going to be putting this out on various different sites, including YouTube. YouTube, we're hoping to be the main one where you can actually see and hear the podcast as well. I'm sat here today with Chris Mitchell. Chris Mitchell works for us at Prestige Auctions, but is also a buyer and a seller, so he's ideal for these podcasts. Me and Chris are going to be doing all sorts over the coming weeks, months, and possibly even years if you all watch it enough.
I think years.
You think years? I think it'll be quite good. And what we're going to do is, of course, we're going to give you an insight into Prestige Auctions at Grimsby. Not only are we going to talk about Prestige Auctions at Grimsby, we're going to talk about all things auction as well. So whether that means Prestige Auctions itself, other auction rooms, other things that are going on in the industry, big sales, small sales, etc. But then we want to show you the backside of it, if that's the right terminology, of not just what goes on a Friday and a Saturday during viewing and the sale, but talking about some of the things that go on behind the scenes, how hard the work can be. But we also want to talk to you guys about buying and selling, because this is extremely important. We're living in times now that can be quite tricky, I think. Don't you think, Chris?
Yeah, you got to get fingering many pies, I think, is the way.
The thing is, everybody's struggling for money. Every time you switch the news on, you're hearing, they're increasing this tax, they're taking this fuel payment off you, whatever they're doing. And the great thing is about buying and selling from auction, or anywhere else for that matter, is I don't think there's anybody that can't get involved in it. Do you think, Chris? I mean,
no.
When did you originally get involved with buying and selling? When did it all start for you?
I think it was your third sale in.
Yeah.
And I arrived with about a £20 note, and I started buying general boxes.
So this would be
£2
around
boxes.
2017, something like that?
Yeah, I reckon. I still think it's your third sale in.
Wow.
And it was a £20 investment. And I've almost got it back now after 7 years.
Did you make money?
I did.
Did you make money straight away?
I did make money straight away.
And that's the best feeling.
And I remember the book.
Do you really?
There was a book in the box, and it was about growing the illegal things that you shouldn't smoke.
Really?
And, it sold for £50.
Wow.
And that was my first investment.
From somebody else, even though I'm an auctioneer these days, the buying and selling gets into your blood.
That was the hook.
That's it, isn't it?
That was immediately, 3 days later, my £20 was already 50.
Yeah.
So I'm hooked.
And I think this is the great thing about buying and selling, which why we say everyone should get involved with it, is because I've always said, when I've explained this to people, it's almost like doing a scratch card. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you do that scratch card and you're there on the table and it says match three things the same, and you match the three things the same, you know you've got a winner, but you haven't scratched off the prize box at that point. So you're not quite sure how much you've won.
No.
And I think that's the same to be said with buying and selling. You bought something, you're pretty sure you're going to make money on it, but you don't really know how much, do you?
No.
And I think that's what keeps the buying and selling industry so exciting. And as Chris will tell you, and as I will tell you, I've been in the industry a hell of a long time. Anybody can get involved with buying and selling. You don't need oodles of knowledge. You need a little bit of guts sometimes, but start small and make it big. And that's one of the things that we're going to be looking at through the Prestige podcast, video podcasts as well, to actually show you guys how you can make extra money from the buying and selling, because you could see the excitement in Chris's face there and in mine, that there's no feeling quite like it. It's just that.
Well, we're going to have a challenge, aren't we?
We are. We're gonna be doing some challenges as well, and we want you to come along with us on those. We're gonna be putting some money down on the table, and we're gonna go out and we're gonna do a bit of filming with it, and we're gonna buy things, and we're gonna see if we can make money on them. So it's almost like gonna be like, almost, it will certainly become a competition between us two. There's no doubt about that. But what that's going to enable you guys to do is to give you some real life scenarios of how you can invest a small amount of money, and I use the word invest for a reason, because if you do this right, everything you do will be an investment. And when I say it'll be an investment, you'll all be sat there screaming at your tellies now and your iPads going, well, no, nothing's guaranteed. Absolutely right. But I say it's an investment. The reason I say that is because you will gain something from everything you buy. If you make money, you'll be happy, you'll gain money. If you lose money, you'll gain knowledge. And that's important as well, because buying at auctions,
Buy something you don't know anything about.
yeah.
The first thing you do is research it, so you've learnt something straight away.
Yeah, and we've all got back in the days of early days of the internet, or before that. Let's go pre-internet, and when people were buying and selling from auctions and all over the place, you had the hard-nosed dealers there that had all the knowledge. Okay, and let's be honest, they would have your pants down, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
If they thought something was worth 100 quid, if they could take it off you for a fiver, they was going to do it.
No internet, you can't research.
Nobody else could research anything. So when you look at the old television shows such as Lovejoy, Minder, Arthur Daly, Del Boy, all the rest of them, you don't think that the people that wrote these just dreamt them up. These were based on real life experiences that they had, and then they turned it comical, didn't they?
Yeah.
But they would have known a person like that. I mean, if you ever, read what Peter Kay said about Phoenix Nights, he said that he knew people that he based the characters on. It was almost like the names have been changed to protect the innocent. But you see these people and you see these characters in auction rooms across the country.
We've had a few old school
Oh,
over the years
yeah.
that could tell you which place to go and where to get things from that you've never heard of.
Oh, that
Barry's the classic example.
Barry, one of our customers, we haven't seen for a long time, used to come into Prestige, and do you know what? He was a fountain of knowledge, but he would only ever tell you about the things he wasn't bidding on. because Barry was a proper dealer. I mean, why would you tell people about something that you're trying to make money on?
Yeah.
And that kind of made sense.
I was lucky enough to spend a lot of time with Barry.
Yes, Barry used to come and sit with you quite a bit in the auction, didn't he?
I used to wake him up before his bids were due.
Oh, do you know what? But
unless we were bidding on the same thing, then I'd let him sleep through that.
The old characters of the auction room. I mean, I think one of the things that's worth saying is that when we set up Prestige auctions, well, I'm going to take that back. When I say when I set up Prestige auctions, I had this vision of what I wanted to do. We've gone into auctions across the country and bidding myself. I'll be the first to admit I didn't like going to many auctions because I always thought the auctioneers were very stuck up in a lot of places.
Can be intimidating.
Very intimidating. Yeah. And I even going back to the days in Grimsby, going to the other auction room in the town, the original auctioneer in there that I knew, I actually see him throw his gavel across the room, because somebody's phone went off. And that's how it was. He was almost like the Gordon Ramsay of auctions. But you know what? He was, when you got to know him, he was a nice guy.
But they felt like a private club, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
Where there was and
of course the other thing as well, back in the old days of auctions, there was a lot of ringing going on.
Mm.
Okay, and what that means basically, everybody, is that groups of dealers would get together and basically they would not bid against each other, and then that way they would keep the prices down on the stuff, and then they would all sort each other out.
And if there's a new guy in town,
oh, he'd get run out without doubt. The great thing is the internet has put paid to a lot of that, because nobody can tell who's bidding from where, so they've got the internet to contend with. But so it does make it, I won't say it doesn't happen still, I think it probably does, but I wouldn't say it really happens here. We're not really the right kind of auction room. But sorry, I went off on a bit of a tangent there, but what I wanted to say is when we set up Prestige, or when I set up Prestige, It was, I wanted to get rid of that old style. I didn't want people to feel intimidated when they came into an auction room. I didn't want it to be run by the dealers. I wanted it to be family friendly. And I think would you agree, Chris, that that's something that we've achieved at Prestige?
Probably from the beginning.
Yeah.
Probably it's more so now. I mean, the room's full of family members.
Yeah.
And animals.
Kids and
There's
dogs.
Kids and dogs.
I don't know which ones make more noise.
But it's a good, light-hearted, entertaining day.
Yeah.
And it is.
Lisa does animal noises.
Yeah, it seems to be quite popular now.
Yeah.
Everybody's joining in.
There's YouTube videos about that, and other people are filming it. But that was the thing about Prestige. You know, when we put this on our logo, it's about our customers. We meant it. You know, we wanted this to be a place where you would often people say, "Oh no, I don't go to an auction. What if I touch my ear? What if I scratch my head? Will the auctioneer take a bid?" And believe it or not, yes, some auctioneers would, but not here. You know, this is a very friendly place. We try to put a little bit of humour into our auctions as well, to try and keep it light-hearted. We still get the business done, and there is a reason that Prestige has become certainly one of the busier auction rooms, certainly within I would say 100-mile radius.
Well,
we're doing 1,300 lots a week.
It's an average, isn't it? 1,300
plus specialist sales. We're recycling a hell of a lot of stuff, and I don't want to tell you this isn't an advert. This you know, I don't want the podcast to become adverts.
Yeah.
So you know, we're just telling you about what the business does, and we kind of achieved that here. And the thing is, you came to Prestige, like you said, 3 weeks in.
Yeah.
And
I missed 3 weeks.
And you must. I mean, obviously, I know because I've lived it all, but the difference in the room since day one.
It was the other way around.
Yeah.
We did have a comfort break.
We did. We used to stop.
And you used to disappear at 2:00 for football.
I did. I was a Grimsby Town season ticket holder back then, and it was like, I need to get the auction done by 2:30 because I want to get to football. But them days have long gone. Not Grimsby Town, but
and the gardening gear was in the outside.
We used to do the right. Now we're going to sell outside. Well,
Yeah.
all that stopped. And there's been so many changes, and of course the dividing wall between us and the next door business was a fork truck.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I do.
We used to actually have to put this fork truck in the way to divide the two businesses up because Cool Energy were in that building then.
Yeah.
And of course they've now purchased the building 2 buildings down. They're in there. So lots of changes have happened at Prestige as we've made it certainly bigger and I would say 100% better. And that vibe that you get in the auction room. And I think what a lot of people are finding as well, and you would have experienced this, is the excitement of viewing day.
Yeah.
So before you worked for Prestige, of course, because you're seeing it up close and personal, although you still do come in and view.
Yeah.
That excitement of when a viewing day was at the auction, once them doors open, you never quite know what you're going to see in the room, do you? And
I'm in at 8:00.
You are. You still are.
I'm still in at 8:00 because I don't see it all on a Monday.
No.
It's a bit of a blur.
And I think that I used to get that same buzz myself when I went to viewing. You'd think, because again, it's that little bit of a gambler inside you as well that's thinking to yourself,
has anybody else seen it?
Yeah, has anybody else seen it? And of course, you do see people doing this quite often, where that you see them spot something because the whole mannerisms change, don't they?
Yeah.
The body language changes. They'll go from just rooting through a box to looking, and then you can see them pushing something to the bottom of the box.
I'll hide it at the bottom,
hoping that nobody else is going to see it. And the thing is as well, with us not being a high-end auction room, we do take care of everything, of course. We will sell high-end stuff. I mean, God, we've even sold a theme park, for goodness sake. But we'll talk about that another podcast.
We sell my stuff every now and again as well.
Do what?
You sell my stuff every now and again.
Yeah.
That's top end.
Oh, God, yeah. Stuff that comes in from somebody that's already a reseller is always interesting, but does seem to sell. You know, only the odd box goes unsold.
Yeah, it's something for everybody.
So I think that, you know, when you're looking at the auction room, you're walking through them doors on viewing day, whether it be at Prestige or anywhere else, that little bit of a buzz that you've got is am I going to find something? Am I going to find something that I can actually bid on and win? And and then take it away. And then the whole process starts. The process of buying and selling at auction from a reseller's perspective is to make money. Okay, no other reason whatsoever. No, I don't think that's true.
No,
actually.
So,
yeah, I'm not right there.
There's always something for yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not selling that. I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
That's too good to sell.
Yeah, you need some things you just need to love for a little while.
Yeah.
But
and it's still stock, so
they usually end up getting sold?
They normally sit in the kitchen or on the mantelpiece in the living room for about 6 weeks, and then it's like, I've had enough of that now. It's time to go.
I know where you're at, because even though we run Prestige auctions, I still buy and sell, as you know. And the great thing is, I mean, and this is something that I encountered with another auction room, was that you soon found that some other auction rooms gave their staff and certain customers preferential treatment when it came to commission, which is something that, as a buyer for many years, I completely disagree with, in terms of buying, at least, because when you're buying something, if you give anybody an unfair advantage over you, then people, if they find out, are going to stop coming to your auction.
The margins are small.
Yeah, so, without doubt. And if an auction room gives somebody an advantage on buyer's commission or anything else, then it's just not right. So, having seen that close up myself, where an auction room used to give I don't think they do anymore, but this particular auction room used to give all of their staff zero commission if they bought anything, with the agreement that it was only for themselves personally. But I remember watching a Panasonic TV sell, a big Panasonic TV, the new flat screens as they were back then, and it making £500 second hand, with about 4 or 5 disappointed people in the sale room, because the person that won it was in the office, because it was a 20% commission in that auction room. She was 20% ahead of them all the time. And I remember looking at the disappointment in those other people's faces and thinking, that's not fair. It's not right.
You wouldn't bid again, would you? You'd
no.
Put you off bidding again.
And potentially them customers were lost forever. And so when we set up Prestige, it was always a case of, right, it doesn't matter if you're an owner, a buyer, a friend, a relative, whatever. Nobody, including me as the owner, gets preferential commission rates for buying, because ultimately, if you buy, you've got to pay the same amount of commission as everybody else, and VAT. That way, level playing field, but that also enables me as the owner to buy things.
Somebody runs you up every now and again, though, don't they?
Yeah, you. You on a box of books last week that I fancied. And to see them things, but, I mean, one of the things I will say on the back of that, because again, some people will be shouting at the tellies, the auctioneer should be bidding. Well, that's not right. An auctioneer should be able to bid. It's a public auction. As long as he follows the same rules as everybody else. And the difference being, I think, is that as an auctioneer, you know this firsthand, I do often, if it's something that I really fancy, but a lot of our customers fancy, I will stand by and not even bid on it. Because, you know what? It's about our customers once again, and I want them to get the bargains and all the rest.
To be fair, you've generally gone for stuff that's almost going to go unsold.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, I'm a bit tight.
Yeah,
I'm a bit of a bottom feeder when it comes to buying. If something goes up past 10, I start shaking.
I still do.
and I honestly think that when it comes to buying and selling, you still get that little bit of buzz, and you just think, oh, right, I've got £15 written down on my pad, and I've just got it for £8. I've got it for £8, and you go home and you're like really excited about it, and then realise you've done your research wrong. And that £8 you've just spent is actually now just gone. But then there's the other side of it.
That's
as well.
Lesson.
And another, I think one of the things we'll talk about one week is some of the best things you've had. I mean, I've got some, because I go back such a long way in this industry. I've bought some fantastic stuff, and I've made lots of money on certain stuff, but I've also lost lots of money. And it's not I think in this industry, if you're going to get into buying and selling, particularly from not just from auction, from anywhere, you've got to be ready to take the knocks. And one thing you must avoid doing is looking at something and going, right, I've invested £100 this week, and I've sold it all, and I've only made £80 back, so I'm negative £20. Stop looking at it over a week. Look at it over a year. Because if next week you spend £100 and you make £200, you're well up. Don't beat yourself up when things go wrong.
It's the biggest mistake people make.
Yeah.
And in the early days is that not much returning for what you've invested.
Yeah, and that's a lot of the reason why people drop out of buying and selling is because they don't find something instantly that's going to make them rich. I mean,
it is a slow burn.
Why do people go to boot sales? Because they're hoping somebody's brought something there. Why people out with torches at 5 a.m. looking in people's boots? Because they're looking for that mistake that somebody has made. And it does happen often on boot sales, but these get rich quick stories that you often hear about and see in other videos and stuff, they're so few and far between. If you think that buying and selling is a get rich quick scheme, then it really isn't. But what I will say is that since we set up Prestige, so many people we've seen enjoying themselves doing it. Never thought they'd get into it. And we've got a couple that come in here that recently, they've only been with us probably 6 or 8 months. He works in a full-time job, and so does she, but they were finding that in their lives that they didn't have a whole lot of time spent together doing things. They came to an auction, they came to Prestige, they bought a couple of bits and then went away and sold them. They're now in an antique centre, they buy and sell online, and they're doing all this together with one specific aim: to be able to afford a nice holiday for the two of them once a year.
And shared interest in doing things together.
And I think that's wonderful. Like they were saying to me the other day, they're now having days out together. They're going to different places and buying things, and they don't want it to become a business. They're not planning on giving up the jobs, but they've found something that they both are enjoying, and they're spending time together.
The buzz.
Yeah, and you think about this for 1 minute, right? If you buy and sell one item and you make £10 profit, well, it's a kebab. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not a lot of money. Now, you over the next year make £10 profit every week, and you save that up, and you've suddenly got £520 there in front of you profit. That's a lot different. That's all of a sudden your £10, which was a kebab, £500 is a weekend away at Butlins with the family, an 80s weekend or whatever. Or maybe a bit more dear than that. I don't know. Or it's Christmas presents paid for. And when you start thinking like this, now you multiply that again and start saying, right, okay, we've done a bit more buying and selling now. We're now making £100 a week. And all of a sudden, somebody puts £5,000 in front of you. That's a holiday, a really nice holiday. That's a car. It's a lump off your mortgage, whatever. And £100 to make in this industry is not difficult.
Well, it's a little bit like the pyramid schemes, isn't it?
Yeah.
You do set off with your £10. 3 weeks later, you invest your £30. 3 weeks later, you're up to 70 or 80.
Yeah.
Before you know it.
The secret is to, and again, as we do more and more podcasts, and one of the podcasts that we're going to do, or maybe 2 or 3 of the podcasts we're going to do, are going to be my story of where I started into all this industry at 9 years old, and started learning from there. And you'll see in my story that there was a point in my life where we was in a lot of debt. And I'm not going to go too much into it because it is a great story, to be fair, but we was in a lot of debt. Me and Lisa were 2 young kids and all the rest of it. And I had, even Lisa, when I made a little bit of money from a deal, Lisa was like, well, we need that for this. And I had to put my foot down and say, no, I need to reinvest it. and that reinvestment is everything that you see around you today.
Yeah,
that's where it started. We'll talk about that another time, but it's interesting because it shows everybody, pardon me, it shows everybody that it's possible, and you can build yourself a better life by buying and selling. Now, one of the things we're going to be doing, we appreciate that people that are going to watch this on on YouTube and other various places, and they're all going to live in Grimsby. You're not all going to come to Prestige Auctions, but what we're really hoping we can do is teach you and show you another way to make extra money without all of these rip-off schemes that you can spot them a mile off on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook and all the rest of it, where it says, want to make £5,000 a month. You see, as a seasoned trader, you see those and go, no thanks, and you flick past them. Sadly, too many people flick onto them, and what you'll soon find is that the only person that will be getting rich out of that video is the person that made the video. And we're hoping to do something a little bit different, family orientated business that we are in Grimsby. We want to show other people how to make a living from, not a living. Well, you can make a living. You can make a living.
You can make a living.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
you can make a good living.
It depends on the effort you put into it.
Yeah.
It's completely possible to make a full-time living out of setting off small and building from there.
I think the other thing as well that we just need to touch upon, because we don't want this one to go on forever, the first one, but I think the other thing we need to touch upon for everyone that's watching in on this one or that looks at it in the future, say they're going to be number one, we're going to number each one of them. So if you are wanting to look back, then you'll be able to see where you are in the list. We're going to do a separate playlist for it as well. But also some of the things that we're going to be doing going forward, we're going to be looking at the house clearance side of things as well, and how different that can be. We're also going to be, saying to you that Prestige as a business does do house clearances. We're the biggest house clearance company around here. I think we're certainly doing more house clearances than anybody else, and we want to show people that don't just chuck everything away, and that how you can make money out of it, whether you're selling that through Prestige Auctions or selling it separately. We want to teach you those ways, and we want to teach you how to stop, or we want to tell you how to stop going to these church halls, to these people that come and put leaflets through your door and say how much money they're going to give you for your medals and your gold and all the rest of it, because I can 100% guarantee you that nine times out of 10, they're not paying you anywhere near what it's worth, but you don't know. So we're going to try and teach you some values on things. And another thing that we're going to be doing, and we're really looking forward to this side of it, is if you want to get involved with Prestige Auctions from anywhere around the country, then we're going to give you that opportunity. Rather than sending a banana box off to one of these companies on the telly that are not going to give you anywhere near the value, we're going to give you the opportunity to send your box of valuables, your jewellery, your small collectibles and all the rest of it to Prestige in Grimsby. And we're going to do, on this table here, we're going to do live box openings, aren't we?
Live reveals, yeah.
And we're going to do sort of podcasts and showing, we can say, if you give us your permission, this is from Sharon in Sussex, let's see what she sent us. We'll open the box there and then we're going to talk about the items that you send to us. So you'll be able to watch the full process. So you'll be able to watch the unopening of the box, okay, when you've sent it to us talking about it and giving our opinions on it. And then I'm sure there'll be some different opinions, but there'll be opinions. And then what you'll be able to see it going through the auction in terms of going into the sale on a Monday, and it'll be on the sneak peek. The stuff will be on the sneak peeks. Another video we do on YouTube. And then the pictures go out on Facebook on a Tuesday night, so it'll be in the catalogue. And then on the Friday it's viewing, we do a video on that as well. So you'll be able to follow the whole process. And then on the Saturday, of course, the auction goes out live on YouTube. So you'll be able to watch the items sold. The other great thing is as well, if you do that and we sell the stuff for you, you get paid out the following week as well via a bank transfer. So you'll be able to watch somebody that's going to work the butt off basically to get the best money for your items. Because if somebody is trying to buy it off you, they want to make a lot of profit. If somebody's selling it for you, like us, we're working for a commission. We want to make you a lot of profit. So that's something that we're going to be doing as well, which is going to be quite exciting. And I'm sure some people will put the weird and wonderful stuff into boxes and will.
I hope so.
I hope so, yeah. I think it'd be great. So
because weird sells.
Yeah, absolutely does. So just putting it out there that if you do want to send anything to Prestige and you would like us to sell it on your behalf, then the address to send it to is Prestige Auctions, 169 to 177 Cleethorpe Road, Grimsby, DN 31 3AX. And that will come to us. What I would say to you, if you're sending any sort of valuables, send it special delivery or with a reputable courier. Anyone that that's got any sense would always insure the stuff through the post as well to make sure it gets to its destination. I do find that Parcel Force is very good at getting the stuff to you, and so is Royal Mail Special Delivery, and some of the other couriers are really good as well. But I would stay away from the budget ones if you're sending valuables.
Parcel Force are pretty good on the tracking, aren't they?
Parcel Force are pretty good, but some people do send stuff through to us already, and of course the big thing is as well that if you want to get involved with the bidding at Prestige Auctions, well, most of our auctions are general sales and they're not online. They're too big. They're just too big. You'd never turn it around quick enough. But we do have one or two people that have seen us on YouTube and have got in touch with us, registered with us, and then we allow them to put their bids in through Messenger and they pay a postage fee and we send it to them. So that option is there as well. Lots and lots of options at Prestige. Now, anybody that watches, we're going to wrap this one up. So I think we've gone on long enough, and these are going to be weekly. These podcasts are going to go out weekly at 8 p.m. On a Friday. So it's our Friday night video, 8 p.m. So
before the pub opens.
Before the pub opens, yeah. So and of course, just don't forget as well, just getting the advert plugs in there. That our range of merchandise is going to be out soon, all about Prestige. Look out for that one. It's going to be good. We'll be sporting the polo shirts before long.
Yeah, I better get my Prestige top on next time.
Yeah, get your Prestige top on next time. But these are going to be a bit informal, and we're going to be doing outside viewing and that. But I'll just leave you in the capable hands of Chris while I just walk over here and grab this, because do you remember these, Chris?
Yes, I do. I think I might have made a small bet about these.
Now, anybody that watches our YouTube channel will know that these were found in a house clearance that we did. Now, what's interesting about these is look at those ring pulls on the top. These are the old-fashioned ring pulls that you used to get back in the day, where if kids, drinking's not a good idea, but you'd get the ring pull and you'd literally remove it from the can, chuck it on the floor. And every car park around shops used to have ring pulls and spoggy everywhere, didn't it? Chewing gum if you're down south.
Spoggy.
Spoggy. Well, I'm going to take this off. So you can see there, Carlin Black Label used to be in red cans. And of course, back in the days before it became trendy, it was called Carlin Black Label Lager, not just Carlin. Serve cool. Well, this studio of ours is relatively cool. So,
have we got a date on that?
This has got a date on it of 28th of May, 1986. Okay. Now, Chris said that we actually said in the video, don't open it yet. Well, Chris actually said in the video when we talked about it, we said, would anybody try it? And Chris said, I'd probably give it a go. So, here we are. We're going to first of all just see. Do you think there's any fizz in there?
Yeah,
I think there is.
Yeah.
Now, bearing in mind, 1986 is 38 years ago. Is it? Where are we now? 24. 86, 96, 2006, 16, 26 will be 40. Yeah, it's 38 years ago. So 38 years ago, this was meant to be drank. And here we are in 2024.
I wouldn't have been old enough to drink that at the time.
So I'll tell you what I'm going to do, actually. I'm just going to get some tissue. Just in case it goes all over, because I don't want it making a massive mess. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to have a look at this ring pull. Now, it'd be quite interesting because we're doing this just for experimental purposes, but actually these will be worth some money. And this is something that, most people just chuck away. But they've got a collectible value, these. And these here, in fact, do you know what I'm going to actually say to you, right? So if you leave a comment for this and anyone says to me, all you got to put in the comments, right, is I've got a man cave and I would like one of these for my man cave. If you do that, there'll be 3 of them there that we're going to give away. We'll send them through the post to you. And but obviously, if more than 3 people say, I've got a man cave, I'd like one of those from my man cave in the comments, then it'll go into a draw. And we'll give these 3 away and you can have them for the backs of your man cave. So let's just put the can there. So first of all, let's see if there's any fizz. You ready? Oh my God, that was great.
Have a sniff.
It smells good.
Yeah. It reminds me of walking past the pub the day after.
It does, doesn't it?
It's that.
We just need somebody having a fag and a cigar in the background, don't we? And then this is what you used to do, kids. And you'd pull the ring pull off like that and chuck it. Because that's what people did. Do you know what?
Go on, you want to go now?
I'll tell you what, I'm just going to leave you talking to them. I'm just going to grab a glass because it'd be interesting to look at it.
Yeah, get the colour.
To see what it's like. I'll just leave. So chat away, Chris. Tell them what you think about the can of Carlin. Of course, you'll still be able to hear me talking because I've got my radio.
Yeah, it has the proper smell of the pub the day after. And it's still fizzing. I'm quite looking forward to this. I think I might have a small taste while he's missing. That is pretty disgusting.
How are we doing?
Yeah. I think
it's the only glass I could find.
I think it'd be all right.
Right. You're excited about this. So let's have a look what it looks like. My God, look at the fizz. Oh, look at them lumps.
Oh no, I've just had some.
Have you really?
Yeah, I did.
You can wait, could you?
I had a swig while you were missing. Oh.
You had a swig?
I did.
I'm just going to come up to the camera. So,
to
see if you can see those lumps that are in there.
Go on, have a go.
No, I can't. Not now I've seen them. That looks like.
Oh no, I only had a little bit.
Planked.
I only had a. Hang on.
Anyway, listen, everybody.
I might not be in on Monday.
Thank you ever so much for watching the very first episode of the Prestige podcast, and or listening into it if you're in your car or whatever. Chris, thank you. Me and Chris are going to be hosting this basically all the way through, and we really need you guys to subscribe. If you subscribing on YouTube doesn't cost you anything. Okay, it's free of charge. It's only if you become a member that you pay. So if you want to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell, every time a new video goes out, you'll get notified and you'll be able to watch it. Chris, thank you. It's been a pleasure doing this.
And cheers.
And cheers. And hopefully you won't end up in A&E. Until the next video, we'll see you soon.